Blues, 2-0. They played the Endura in Whangarei. That was the first match that they played in the Super Rugby, and they followed that up with a pretty tough victory. This is in the Melbourne round. It was actually an away game against the Highlanders. I know this is whatever. I mean, they're all playing at the neutral ground, 37-29. Now, don't get much easier, does it? Going to the Hurricanes on Saturday night. So after that, away the Waratahs. Kurt Eklund joins us. Welcome back to the show, mate.
Cheers, mate. How's it all going?
Well, how's it all going for you lot? 2-0 is a good way to start the season, isn't it? You'll be pleased with that?
Yeah, mate, you can't complain. Obviously we wanted to get off to a good start, and 2 wins on the, well, one of them was a home game, but it didn't really feel like it.
That's right.
And the other one in Melbourne, so no, we're happy with where we're at.
Yeah, that's an away game. Probably didn't feel like it either because, a bit different from playing.
It was like 28 degrees up in Whangarei, and I swear there were more Fijian supporters there than there were Blues, but made for a pretty cool spectacle, mate, and it was a good way to kick the season off.
You've played, pretty good razzle-dazzle rugby at the moment, but what is the coach saying to you? What's Vern saying to you? He wouldn't have been happy conceding 29 points against the Highlanders, right?
No, exactly, man. That's something that we need to clean up a little bit. We've leaked a few tries in both games, so it's quite a big focus for us, this week especially, because we know what the Canes can bring. But, on the other side of that, the boys are scoring some pretty nice tries, and, we just got to keep going in with an attacking mindset and not really try and play with the defending, what do you call it? We don't want to go out there and defend the game. We want to go out there and win it. We want to play a good brand of rugby, so that's what we aim to do.
Traditional Blues rugby, I'd call that.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Get the ball up. I think we've got a big emphasis on collisions this year. It wants us to be a lot more physical than what we have been previously. And, I think if we can win that aspect of the game, then we'll be away laughing.
I was going to say, one of the things I'd written down, and it's great you mentioned that because I've actually noticed that, and I've also thought that set-piece-wise, you've been pretty consistent as well, and that's really important for somebody like you playing where you play.
Yeah, the boys, I think they hit 100% lineouts last week, mate, so that's something that we look to take on moving into the rest of the season. And our scrum's going all right too. We've put a bit of work into that over the pre-season, and I think we've come leaps and bounds, and hopefully things just keep moving in the right direction.
Kurt, when you start the season, you have a couple of warm-up games, and a lot of guys get sort of a few minutes here and a few minutes there. What kind of step up is it really then when you play your first competition games? Do you really notice it in the first couple of weeks?
I think the intensity is definitely a lot more. You play your pre-season games, and everybody's getting a run from both sides of the team and all that sort of stuff. And the scoreline isn't it doesn't really matter that much. But once you're in the competition, mate, there's a bit more pressure. We go to win. I think it's that aspect of the games that it definitely brings the intensity. Obviously, there's points up for grabs and things like that. So once the season really kicks off properly, mate, you definitely notice a difference. But
is all the training there, does it prepare for the lung burn? Do you really notice that? Like the first couple of games, you go, God, I tell you what, she's a little bit faster than I thought it would be.
Bro, honestly, you can't. I don't think there's anything that can replace match fitness. You can do as much running as you want. You can hit as many tackle bags, but once you're out on that field, mate, it's something different, Repeated efforts and having to hit a ruck then to make a tackle and be on side all the time, mate. She's a bit of a tough one.
Look, I don't know, when you're in the Melbourne round, do you actually get to sit and watch even a few minutes of some of the other games, or you're just sort of cocooned in what you're doing yourselves?
I think, last week I was running waters, mate, so, the pressure wasn't on me as much. So, I got to have a little bit of a look to see what the other boys were doing, but most of the guys, you go away on these trips and things like that, and everyone thinks it's pretty nice because you get to do a bit of travel. But the reality is, you get there, you got your captain's run day, and you're back in the hotel, and you play your game, and you leave. Well, we left the hotel at 6 o'clock the next morning, so there's not too much downtime around it, and you're pretty focused when you're there. And I think, as professional athletes, that's our job, mate. We go over there, we want to get the job done, and then just get home, so move on to the next one. So. For the boys who are playing, it's not a holiday at all. We're in there and we want to get get something out of it.
Perfectly understand that. I was just wondering whether you managed to see any of the Crusaders losing to the Waratahs. And when the Crusaders are 0-2, mate, sitting at the bottom, loving it.
I know, mate. Crazy, eh?
It's nuts.
They always seem to, the last, for as long as I've known them, they sometimes tend to start a little bit slower and then peak at the right end of the season.
Yeah.
Which is obviously the way you want it. You don't want to come out guns blazing and then taper off. So, be interesting to see how they bounce back from that. But definitely, a lot of new personnel in there and things like that. I'm probably working a few things out along the way. So, you never know, mate. You can't, you can't underestimate them. And
no.
I think it makes it for an exciting comp too.
Well, they'll come good. They'll come good at some stage. I mean, they're going to bite someone at some stage, aren't they? That's just what they do.
Yeah.